These are the paying sponsors for the show. If you want to sponsor the show, you can contact me for more information. Shoot me an email at neveragainstudio@gmail.com. Finishers MMA. 3761 Nicholas Street, Easton, PA. If you don't know who these guys are by now, how dare you? They do a show with me called Now We Go. Zach and J.M. Holland run 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu in Bethlehem. They have another school in Allentown, and that's John Thor Blank. These guys are elite black belts in the game. They are doing things no one else is doing in the area. If you're looking for self-defense, if you're looking to get in shape, if you're looking to just get your life back on track, Jiu-Jitsu is for you. Check them out. You can find information on them at finishersmma.com. Zach and JM are the teachers over at the Bethlehem School. At Finishers MMA is for all of their social media. And you can check out Now We Go, which is a podcast we do every Monday. But those guys sponsor the show, and they're beasts. Go check out finishersmma.com. Sabraki Jewelry Design. Matt, I've known Matt almost my entire life, and it's pretty cool. He's got a great story, and he's going to eventually come on the podcast. He went to become a jeweler, and he went to school in California, and he got he finished with a degree as a graduate jeweler gemologist with a design in and wax in 2001. He's worked in both manufacturing and retail across the country. I've been following his story the whole time, and it's really cool watching him grow. And we talked about doing this for years, and he's finally at a point where he's working for a legit, well-known jeweler in Philadelphia, and that's D'Antonio and Klein Jewelers in Philly, and it's the city's highest-rated custom jeweler and manufacturer, and you can check them out on Yelp and Google. What Matt specializes in is custom-made jewelry and is a master at CAD design. He's worked on the finisher ring, and he's actually tried to do some stuff with Never Again stuff in the past, and we're working on projects, but we're talking about anything from can openers all the way up to an extremely expensive engagement ring, and it's cool watching him build that on CAD and seeing the design work in the background. He's working with clients from start to finish during the design and manufacturing progress to ensure peace of mind and superior quality with generations to come. Jewelers Row, quality and professional, and he's got affordable prices. He also offers repair services, jewelry restoration, and insurance appraisals, as well as pre-owned watch sales and services. All inquiries are welcome. You can check out his Instagram at sabraki.jewelry.design. It'll be right here as well. For design inspirations, call 484-426-3735. You can email him at sabrakidesign@gmail.com. All of this is connected through the Instagram account, and you can just message him if you have any questions as well. And he's setting up appointments, and you can hit him up for appointments in Philly and Lehigh Valley, and we're hoping he comes back up this way and sets shop up as well. And that's Sabraki Jewelry Designs, and thank you for sponsoring the show. All Valley Rooter and Plumbing is a one-stop shop for all of your plumbing needs. You can reach them at allvalleyrooter.net, or you can call them at 610-762-1656. They are fully registered, fully insured, and they have a 1-year parts labor guarantee. It is the plumber that we use for the show. Any problems that we've had down here in the studio, he's working on some projects for me now. He's stopped by several times. He's working on the studio above this studio. I personally put my guarantee on him. He's a close friend of mine. We grew up together. He told me the story about how he grew this business, and I'm impressed with Jared, and he does really good work. So if you need a plumber, do me a favor, do Jared a favor, call him. All Valley Rooter and Plumbing, 24-hour service. The number again is 610-762-1656, and you can get all the information you need at allvalleyrooter.net. And his social media is at All Valley Rooter on Facebook and Instagram. Rips Auto Detail. If you don't know who Rips is at this point, you are a first-time listener, but that's okay. We're going to tell you all about him right now. Rips Auto Detail, 630 North Nelson Street, Allentown, PA. Rips, he's the best. He's the best in the area. Highline paint correction, ceramic coating, and you can check out all of his work online. The best place to follow him is on Instagram at Rips Auto Detail. His daily posts of what he's doing over there. If you need your car restored, a boat restored, a plane restored, I don't care what you need restored, he will fix it. I've seen the guy bring things back from the dead. I've seen him work on clients' cars that are just continually bringing them in to get kept up with. He has a ton of different packages, and he can find one for you. So that's Rips Auto Detail, 630 North Nelson Street, Allentown, PA. You can follow him at Rips Auto Detail, and you can get a hold of him through there as well. If you go onto social media, it's going to have his number and further information on how to get to him. I'm telling you, follow the social media. Give him a follow, show him some love, and check out what he's doing. He's high level, and he's one of our favorites over at the show. So check him out. Luke Delmeyer Custom Knives. They are high-end custom knives made and forged from scratch. Luke Delmeyer, friend of the show, out of Hellertown, Pennsylvania. He offers bladesmithing, farrier services, and blacksmithing as well. You can take classes over there. That is the thing that I push. I have a couple people that went over there, and you take a class and you learn how to make the knife. You start from step one all the way to the end, and when you're done with the class, you're walking away with your own custom knife that you made. The classes fill up pretty fast, so I need you to go over there and check it out. You can get all the information on classes and his custom knives on www.lukedelmeyer.com. Custom knives, classes, and more. Check him out. Follow him at Luke Delmeyer. Instagram's where it's at. All of his stuff's on there. He's got videos. He's forging constantly. He's been on some TV shows, and he's a friend of the show. So go check him out. It's Luke Delmeyer Custom Knives, farrier, bladesmith, blacksmith. Five and Dime Easton. Local skate shop in Easton, Pennsylvania, 140 Center Northampton Street, Easton, PA. You can call the shop at 610-393-7448. They carry a lot of local brands, and they carry Fucked as well. They're the only ones that actually are allowed to sell the Fucked clothing line in store. So if you're one of those guys looking for stuff you can't grab anywhere else and some custom things, it's in that shop. I've worked with these guys. We've had them on the podcast. It's awesome seeing the Easton skate scene have their own store. The store itself, it's super cool. It's skater friendly, skater owned, and you got to go in and check it out for yourself. Then that's 140 Northampton Street, Easton, PA, and check out the sales they got going on. Like I said, a lot of local stuff in there. We're gonna collab on some stuff. I'm really glad to have them as a sponsor. It's awesome to see the skate scene in Easton have their own spot. So take my word, you got to go in, got to check it out. You can also check them out online. So it is 140 Northampton Street, Easton, PA, and their number is 610-393-7448. Check them out. Give them a follow at Five and Dime Easton on all social media platforms. BTG Blasting. Back to Glory Blasting. Why is it called that? Because this guy's bringing stuff back from the dead. Old decks, siding, anything you need. You got a business. He does commercial and residential pressure washing. This guy's got the equipment to give you the best look possible. You got a little one at home, it ain't doing it. He's bringing it all over. He's bringing it over, and he's knocking everything down, knocking the mold down, the dirt down. I've seen his work. He's done stuff at my parents' house, and he also just started doing virus disinfection. So if you have a business and you need it disinfected because of the coronavirus and all that, he has taken classes and is completely certified. He is now doing this studio monthly, and I can't thank him enough. I have guests that worry about things going on down here. We are now fully disinfected, and that's because of Back to Glory Blasting. It's fully insured, and it's commercial and residential pressure washing and virus disinfection at this time. You can reach him at 484-241-1711. You can also email him at btgblasting@gmail.com. Check them out. If you guys need any projects done, it's still summertime. You can get your decks redone, your siding redone. You got a party coming up, hit them up. If you got an office, you're running a kitchen. I know a ton of people that own kitchens. You can have it disinfected monthly for a fee, and he comes out and does it monthly. So you can, it's take all your worries away. and just get this stuff done for the disinfectant, especially the way times are now. So that's BTG Blasting, and we thank him for being a sponsor. Glenn Honan, Legacy Landscaping. If you don't know this name, you are not from the area. Glenn is a really good friend of mine, and he just got a new landscaping company back up. We did some apparel for him, and it's Legacy Landscaping. Glenn is the best in the area for landscaping. He's been doing it almost his entire life. I mean, before I was doing any of this, I worked for Glenn, and what he's doing now, it's awesome. It's awesome to see him back in action getting landscaping done. But he can cover all of your landscaping needs. You can follow him at Legacy Landscape, and you can reach them at 610-533-3669. Any questions you have with outside projects, whether you want to do hardscaping or you're looking to put in a pond, put some boulders out in the backyard, have some steps coming up, this guy can handle it all and more. There is not one thing that they're afraid to tackle, so you can reach them at 610-533-3669. What else can I say? He's a good friend of the show, and thanks for being a sponsor. Crawlspacerepairs.com. This is obviously for crawlspace repairs. What's crawlspace repairs? It's all the things that you don't want to do at your home, and you should hire them to do it. They are a family-run business, and they have over 120 years experience. They are specialized in crawlspace repair, encapsulation, and waterproofing. They provide exceptional workmanship and the highest quality materials. They have highly skilled technicians. They are also bonded and fully insured. They always provide free estimates and lifetime warranty for all waterproofing jobs. You can ask about their price match as well. So when you do that, you're going to need to call 1-570-476-5866. You can also go directly to their website, which is crawlspacerepairs.com. If you have any crawlspace repair needs, please contact them. 1-570-476-5866. That's crawlspacerepairs.com. I'll keep us on track. Never Again Radio, episode 78. I always hit this. Welcome to Never Again Radio, man. How are you?
Awesome, man.
I believe we tried to do this for 2 years. We were trying to.
It's been a long time coming.
I feel like every time a guest is supposed to come on, and then by the time they do is like the time they should have come on. Because I don't even think we were doing full video at the first time when we were getting into it. And then your entire career and life has just rocketed in a total different direction, which I think is so awesome, and is one of the main reasons I wanted to bring you on. But you are a tattoo artist, and tell everybody where your name and where you tattoo out of.
I'm Eli Geshwinder.
I just didn't know how to pronounce your last name, so I'm making you do it.
Geshwinder. Some people call it Gershwinder.
What is that, German?
Yeah.
Nice. I'm Fauerbach, very German as well.
Right. But I own a shop, Famous Tattoo Works, and coming up on 20 years of tattooing.
That's crazy. I didn't even know you were tattooing that long.
Yep.
When did you get started?
2000, the end of 2000, in my bedroom, right down the street, actually. Yeah. Progress Street.
What when you started all those years ago, were you taking art classes? Like, were you into art? Did you draw as a kid? Like, what drew you to probably putting terrible tattoos on your friends in your bedroom?
That's exactly what was going on. Oh man, my first victim, Brooks. Bless him for that, for letting me take a stab on his arm after tattooing in orange for like 5 minutes. But yeah, I always drew. I was always known as like the artist of the class.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, in high school, people started asking me to draw something they'd get tattooed on them, and I got that a lot, and then but I didn't see it as like any kind of career choice or anything like that. I didn't know how to get into it. And out of high school, I started to go to Allentown Business School.
Yeah, the guy was going to do that too.
Okay.
Did you go and finish?
Yeah. No, I didn't finish.
I didn't go. I remember seeing all the commercials, and I was like, I don't need you. High school, Allentown Business School, here I come. I think I was going to go for fucking, it was like a video game. I was trying to go for like video games, and they were like trying to tell me that like what they offered covered that, and it didn't. Like it was like Full Sail University is where I was going to go in Florida.
Right.
But I think it's funny. I think there's like one other person I knew that was going to. They pushed that hard, man.
Yeah, they did. That's the thing. I used to get the literature in the mail, like on the regular, and they had the art program, visual communication.
Yeah. Yeah. They told me I could work in the video game industry.
Right. I think right out of high school, I think I got arrested twice that summer. You know, graduated at 17 years old. And I kept seeing that come in the mail, and I'm like, man, I got to do something, turn my life around. I'm like, I'm going there, you know. And but it didn't line up. Like, just terrible with computers, you know. And I did that for a while. I think like 9 months, and never finished the 18-month course, you know, and still getting haunted with student loans. paying them faithfully now, you know.
That's crazy. They're still hunting you down. It was so long. Years. I don't even think that school's open anymore. Nah. Yeah. Fuck that.
So I was going to school for that, and I was on the right track, 18 years old, and then my brother was getting tattooed a lot. I'd gotten tattooed once in high school, 17 years old. My parents made me wait, and as soon as I could get one, I got one.
Where'd you go?
Where did I go?
Yeah. That's the thing that's why I'm so interested. Back then, like it wasn't tattoos weren't popular.
This is a cool story.
It was
man.
taboo. You like get Gator Ricks and Pleasure and Pain, and there wasn't a lot of shops.
So my mom owns the biker bar, Pennsylvania Roadhouse, and one of the biker guys that came in, they called him the preacher. You know, he's dead now. He recently died, but she's like, Scott can do it for you. Scott can do it for you.
Got an in-house guy.
We show up to the studio. It's on his property. It's in a school bus.
That's awesome.
It was actually
You'd pay 3 times as much now for that experience.
Oh, my God. So, that was my first experience, and my brother was getting a lot of tattoos by another guy, Tattoo Dave, and then my brother started asking me, draw me up some stuff, and so I'm going to school for graphic design, and I get into some more trouble. Another DUI, driving on DUI suspension. I was about to do 3 months in jail. So I knew I had to take off legal school, leave of absence to do this jail sentence. And when I took off around that same time, I saw a tattoo magazine, and I saw this kit I could buy for like $300. And I was like, this light bulb went off in my head. I was like, tattoo kit, $300. Got a job roofing for a little bit.
It's not easy work.
No,
it's not easy work.
Got the kit in the mail, and like I said, I tattooed an orange for like 5-10 minutes, and then tattooed my buddy, and that was the start of it.
What was it like? Because the Roadhouse itself has such a whole nother story. I would love to have your mom on. But like, what was that like growing up there?
It was an experience. You know what I mean? It's a part of who I am today.
You probably met so many. You probably had so many crazy uncles.
Man, these guys are my role models, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For good or bad, you know. Yeah. But it's who I am today. You know what I mean? And a lot of them, hey, you're tattooing now. Here, do me up. You know what I mean? Yeah. In fact, part of this journey of tattooing, I had a little studio behind the bar.
I remember.
Right? So, every now and again, tattooing a drunk guy. That's just part of it. You
know? You signed the waiver. Now you're giving out the tattoos at the bar. Right. So then you started with your buddy, and at this point, are you like out of trouble, or like did you already do the DUI sentence?
No, here's the thing. I actually, it was like a few months before I actually went to jail. So I took off the leave of absence from school, was doing some roofing, got the kit all before leading up to jail.
Yeah.
So I did like a handful of tattoos before I went to jail. Did 3 months in the county, driving on DUI suspension, and after having a few tattoos under my belt, I was just hungry. I was just hungry to get out, get this tattoo thing going.
That must have been driving you crazy, that 3 months inside.
Yeah.
Then not being able to do art or anything.
I did 30 days in the hole. Fucking getting caught with cigarettes. And all you could have in the hole is a Bible and some paper and pen to write letters. So I was drawing a lot in there. And so that's it. I was hungry, and it was still a slow process to get this whole tattooing thing off the ground. Because back then there wasn't nobody. You
didn't have Instagram. You didn't have shit.
No.
Now you can have people connect, message you and be like, hey, can I get tattooed tomorrow?
Not only that, but there was only a handful of tattoo shops around.
Yeah. That was I said we were talking before about bringing Tom on, and that was one of the things talking to him about like how different it was back then.
Right.
There was only 2-3 shops.
Yeah, I actually went to Pleasure and Pain for a job. That was one of the 2 places I went to in the beginning. I went to Showtime. And,
Yes, that's
yeah,
right.
I went to, family friend knew Joe from Showtime. Like, oh, I got a buddy. He owns a shop up there. Go give it a try. So I go up there. And he's like, yeah, come back in a couple weeks. I got a car show I got to go to, blah, blah. I'm like, cool. So then I went down to Pleasure and Pain. Stacy was working at Pleasure and Pain at the
That's
time,
right. I always forget that that's where she started,
yeah,
too.
So she took a look at my so-called portfolio at that point. All pictures were blurred out and shit. I didn't even have a digital camera. I think it was like a disposable.
Yeah. Well, a long fucking time ago, man.
Yeah. That was probably the end of 2001, but
Yeah.
when I went down for a job, and she's like, "Hey, you got any better pictures?" And I can't really see the work, And then I was at a family friend's biker party, Legs and Manny's. I'm at their house, and they got Chris Burke, tattoo artist Chris Burke, working there, just tattooing at the party. And I was like, oh, "What's up? I'm trying this thing out, this tattooing thing." He's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Yeah, here's my brother. I did this tribal on him right here." And Chris saw the tribal, and Chris is like, "Oh shit, that's not bad, man." He's like, "I could get you a job where I'm working at." And he's like, "I get you a job with that tattoo." I'm like, "Really?" I'm like, "Awesome, dude," because I'm like still doing this roofing shit, man. Like that would be cool as shit, you know what I mean? So he got me in with that tribal tattoo I did on my brother, man. That's kind of how I got into
Tribal was huge at one point.
That was outrageous in Southside Bethlehem.
Yeah.
Still around. Well,
So where'd you go from there then?
Because
it seems like, did you stay tattooing, or does it dip in and out, or?
I actually, I did construction in the morning, on and off for like the first 6 years of tattooing.
Yeah.
And then after about 6 years of that, full-time tattooing.
Yeah, that double grind is crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what led me to the construction. Honestly, looking back, that was a terrible mistake.
Yeah.
Eventually, I got into a motorcycle accident, shattered my spine, and couldn't ever go back on a roof again. So that was like, all right, tattooing.
Tattooing it is. I guess I'll be sitting down. When did you think that it started becoming a lot more serious, as far as like you started like paying your bills and you started like getting caught up, and then like, like started really developing your own craft?
The first couple shops I worked at is like I was making money, but it wasn't much. I think building the clientele was tough in the beginning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you said, there wasn't social media back then. And I think the fact that I was kind of on and off with the construction and not putting my all into it.
It's hard.
You know what I mean?
It is very hard to balance the thing that you're trying to do and the thing that you want to do because you love it, and actually having to pay all your bills. So but you're not making enough money doing the thing you love, and you can't give up on it. But at the same time, you have to make money, and then you just run this like very awful line of working 2 full-time jobs and trying not to burn out.
Yeah, it's tough.
Terrible.
It's tough, but
it's worth
some
it.
Point, you gotta put that risk into it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? At one point, it's like you just go all in.
Yep. And you figure it out. Mm-hmm. And anyone who's ever nervous doing it, and like that's what I like to push on here, is for people to take that leap. Is you figure it out. It's like riding a bike.
It's a leap of faith, and you hear the most successful people in the world talk about living off ramen noodles and tuna fish. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was it. I think I went from outrageous to tattoo factory, and then I wanted to get into screen printing. I had a lot of people asking me to do artwork for their T-shirts. So then it was like, here's this other adventure.
Oh, that's such a monster. That's such a monster. You don't realize all the shit that goes into that.
Right. I try to simplify my life. It's just tattooing these days. But
yeah.
So I bought this screen printing equipment. And then
and it's always for sale. You can always find screen printing equipment because there's a million people who try it, and there's not a lot that keep doing it. It's I've worked at a screen printing place. It was when I was in Virginia. I wanted to. know the back end of the t-shirt business. I wanted to know how everything was. So I was like, I'll get a job at a screen printing place. And then I was like, because I always thought about like, I'll print my own. And then I'm like, oh, there's a dark room and there's chemicals and you need a pressure washer. There's a lot to it.
We bought this guy's business for $3,500 in I think it was 2001 or 2002. And I look back on it, I was like, that was a lot of money back then.
Yeah.
And I could get started for probably $500 now. Like, that was crazy to spend, you know. One of my buddies was a drug dealer back then. He had lots of money. I borrowed it from him. It was a loan shark. It was a loan shark.
I love it, though.
I faithfully paid him back, you know. And, and I started a partnership with my buddy with that, and I left Tattoo Factory, and we had a business, screen printing and tattooing, above the coffee shop downtown Easton, above what's Terra Cafe now.
Yeah.
And we had a good go at it for like 18 months, but that was all learning how to screen print.
It's not easy.
You know, oh my God, you know, coating your screens, the dark room process, the drying them.
Yep.
Had a clothing line. It was called Gamble Lifestyles.
That's fun to do, huh?
Yeah,
Run a clothing company. That's easy and fun.
That's why I appreciate what you do, man.
I'm still learning it, man. I'm still learning it.
Right.
I'm still learning it. And now it's harder because, like when I first started it, you could post something on Facebook and everyone would see it. Now they throttle your shit. And then it's like, if you post something and it says like, if there's like for sale, or like I pushed a sweatshirt today, two people liked it. 6 years ago, I was sell out of shit in a month.
Right.
And I was just, so now that you got to pay for the Facebook ads, and you can get away with it a little bit better on Instagram, but like it's now the hustle's even harder. It's harder. And like what you were saying too, it's like you got to build a clientele, where then it's like you don't realize what building a clientele is. And it's like, I'm still building a clientele from the apparel end of it and for people who buy my clothing. And it's like, you got to keep them happy. You got to keep, you got to have stuff that it's interested in. It's crazy though. I didn't know you did clothing.
Yeah.
How far did you take that?
Well, like I said, it was a partnership, and after that partnership, I said I'd never do a partnership again, because it was like he had ideas that I wasn't into. And I was like, I'd call myself the founder, you know. He bought into it, and like he was just hesitant to run with my ideas, and I'm like, fuck, man, I started this shit, you know. How far did we take it? We didn't get, very far, like in stores or anything like that, but we had like the whole like the friends rocking it, and the whole downtown. I'd be walking down the street to go grab a pack of smokes or something, and here's some hoodlum I never saw before.
That's cool.
Rocking.
That's a cool feeling.
It said Gamble Lifestyles. Like the one was like Gamble Gangster with a gun on it. There was Gamble Bondage with a chick all tied up. Like we had fun with it.
That's what was big back then too, though. Like the serial killer brand, and like remember the skate shirts and all that shit back then. That was I would think that was my favorite time for clothing and like graphic design.
Yeah, I think the serial killer, there was the one, I think it was just a big picture of Jim Belushi's face, and it said blow.
And then fucked. And that's crazy because the guys from Five and Dime, that's their cousin.
Yeah.
That's
I
their
was
cousin.
talking with him about that.
Yeah, which is crazy that he still runs it, and it's like massive overseas, and they're the only one in the area that's allowed to sell the clothing in store. The rest is all online.
Wow.
But that was my favorite thing back then. But I didn't know that you ran that for a spell.
Yeah.
So what'd you do after that then?
Well, somebody bought the building, and they bought the building was for sale. We couldn't buy it. These guys from out of town came in, bought it. And they came up, had a meeting with us, and we were young, dude. We were like 21, you know what I mean? I think they walked in, there was probably like a case of beer and empty beer bottles over there. They're like, look, man, we're kind of going in a direction with this building, and, they're like, let's face it, this is no ice cream parlor you got going on up here.
Yeah.
So we pretty much got the boot.
Yeah.
And I actually ended up at Pleasure and Painting a couple months later. That was the next stop on the tattoo journey.
And then how long were you at Pleasure and Pain for?
About 2 years.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Me, Josh Groman, Ken Sigafus was there.
Yeah.
We had it was cool. It was fun times.
Yeah.
You know, I was definitely building up the clientele then. You know, we were definitely rocking out, having a good time with it too. You know.
When did because there's an abrupt change that I'm speeding up to with your life.
Get into
So like when did because everything changed drastically. Like
Right.
I saw the progression of your tattoo work jump from like, you know, let's say using a number from a 5 to a 10. Like there was a definite like there was focus. There was life being breathed into
Right,
it.
right.
It seemed like it was being taken in a different direction than it's ever been before.
You're saying in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Well, back Pleasure and Pain. That was 2005, 2004, 2005. Right. And like I said, we were rocking out, doing good, blah blah. And it was back in that time, I picked up a habit, picked up a pill habit, and an addiction grabbed a hold of me, and basically for the next decade of my life, you know, I was. You know, just bad in addiction, you know, still tattooing, still staying above water with it, but just my progression went downhill. And eventually I was able to clean up my act, you know, got clean, went to rehab, got clean, stay close with the recovery community.
Was it something that you wanted to do, or was it you were approached by friends and family, or like what was kind of like the breaking point of like, if you even can you pinpoint when it was?
Yeah, absolutely. It wasn't just one exact.
No.
You know what I mean? It was a lot of things leading up to that. Like,
Yeah.
When, you know, I had a shop in Stockertown. It was the first go round with Famous Tattoo Works. I was there about 4.5 years, and when it got to the point where the last 6 months of the business, I couldn't pay a cell phone bill. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm paying rent late. And a lot of other, you know, crazy shit. My artists were leaving one by one, you know?
Yeah.
Looking back on it, it's like if I was in their shoes, I would have left.
Absolutely.
Probably sooner than they did.
Yeah.
You know? And my mom used to, you know, she'd be like, hey, you're losing weight again. You're this, you're that. And, you know, going to it for money. I can't pay, you know, this, can't pay that. So mom bailed me out financially a few times. And eventually when I noticed that nothing I could do could turn this addiction around, went to my mom. I said, Mom, I can't do this. I'm ready to go to rehab.
Yeah.
You know? And that didn't do it either. Went 2 rehabs in 6 months, and I've been clean ever since. But after the first rehab, I left against medical advice within a week, and I'm using the very next day. That week, I closed down my shop in Stockertown. I was like, I got to focus on getting clean, and it took me another 6 months. You know, a good rough 6 months.
I only asked because when I quit, I did. It was like 9.5, almost 10 years, and I remember the day I was just done. I was up at Cherry Hill, and I woke up, and I was just hungover again. And like you said, it's multiple times where you kind of have like these flash moments of like, hey, I'm fucking up, and then you dive back into it. Then you have another flash moment. So it was like a bunch of those, and I remember the same thing. Calling my parents, and I was just like, hey, like I'm done. Like I'm done. Like, and then it was weird. It was it's there's not a lot to do in this area, especially with growing up. So it was like I feel like I fell into a lot of bad habits, and you just get caught up around people, and it's not easy to stop doing something when there's a lot of people around you that are doing it, or if you get into a situation like that. I didn't go to rehab. I kind of did this like really bizarre thing that was probably, I don't know if it was better or worse, but I don't know if rehab would have helped me out faster than the way I took to do it. But do you think that like rehab was like a pinnacle point in your sobriety, or at that point it was so much that you were done with it that you were ready to do it yourself, or both?
No, I think it was huge, because, you know, I had to go through a detox. I had to go through feeling really sick. You know, I went through, you know, being on the street and saying, oh, I'm going to kick this on my own. You get a couple days into it, and you're like, you got the drug dealer's phone numbers right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you tell yourself, I'm just going to use one more time. Just one more time.
Yeah.
And then you can't stop, you know? So for me, rehab was huge. Rehab was huge.
And then I saw you started posting about that you were sober, and then I started seeing like milestones you were hitting with it, and then I started seeing how much your life changed, how much your tattoo work changed, and how much it seemed like you got to where you were trying to go this entire time.
Yeah.
What was that like?
What aspect of it? The milestones or seeing
everything, like the journey, because it seemed like the journey was quick. Like you were like picking up, like it seemed like it was it was stuff you wanted to do but never could do because it was just the pills were in the way. And then I started seeing like you hit like so many days, and then you started traveling to do your artwork, and then your artwork definitely changed completely. I thought, in my opinion, it looked like you were like everything was just cleaned the fuck up and was like you really went into a whole nother fucking realm.
I think for outsiders looking in, it seemed like it probably went quick, but for me, it was like it was a day-to-day struggle, staying clean, staying sober. You know what I mean? And I purposely took things slow too. I think they're slow. I waited 3 years of being clean before I started Famous Tattoo Works up again.
Yeah.
But like this is where I've been wanting to be from when I started this journey. So it's good to see it come to fruition now. Like doing the tattoo conventions, you know. The last time I did a tattoo convention before I got clean was 2012 down in Wildwood, and I was effed up. You know, I was fucked up down there.
Yeah.
And now it's like I get to show up. I actually get to be present. I actually get to rock out doing what I love and really being in it, you know. It's a blessing, man. A lot of gratitude, you know. Being in recovery has definitely changed my life, and it's opened up so many doors. Coming on to do this podcast right now, you know, it's just a part of it. If you would have asked me to come on 5 years ago, I would have told you, but I'd have to stop and see a dealer before I showed up, if I even did show up.
Well, that was like the you know, coolest part of the story is I wanted to get out there is, you know, I know what being sober for the amount of time, it changed my life completely. It's weird because you have to grow up. It like, and then when I found this business to run, and it was things that, like, I remember saying all the time at the bar, like, oh, we should do this, we should do this, we should do this. And they're all woulda, shoulda, coulda. And then when I quit drinking, I would say the shit, and then I noticed I was getting it done. And then, like, I was like, oh, cool. So then I started having this feeling where it was like, a lot of self-doubt went away, and then I had time because I wasn't drinking, and I was getting time back because like I gained Sundays back. Like I was always vomiting, hungover, alcohol poisoning on Sundays. That's what we do on Sundays is I don't leave my bedroom.
And that was the norm.
Yeah. And it's crazy that like that's what becomes the norm, where I'm like dry heaving over a toilet. My mom's like, are you doing this again? Oh, it's not that bad. Right. And it's like, I'm so sick, I have to drink water to throw up because like I have nothing left in me. And then it's like, now that I have my time back, it's like, all right, well, what do I do with my time? Because then you're sitting around being like, Arr. And then when you have a creative outlet, which is why I was always so interested in yours, is you kind of just, you really blossom in the lane that you fucking stay in. And then when I started learning that, I was like, all right, well, now I got to get a tax guy. And now I got to do this. And now I got to do this.
Right.
But
I actually pay taxes now. You know what I mean?
And it's funny because it's like, to what I look at it is like, oh my God, what an accomplishment. But it's regular everyday shit I wasn't doing because I was a fuck up.
Right.
But like, you know, because
I don't need any praise these days for doing the right thing. It's just great. It's just, I'm just grateful to be able to do like normal shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And in the beginning, it's funny because I would be like excited and tell my buddy like, hey, I think I'm getting an apartment. And he's like, cool.
Everybody's already had apartments. You know?
He's got like kids. He's married. I'm like, I think I'm going to buy a dog. I might get a plant.
It's new. You know what I mean? When
it's
you
weird.
Get sober, it's different, man. Like,
the lights come on.
Yeah, there's so much to it. You know, I wouldn't even have time to even scratch the surface. Yeah. You know, but like to really stay course of this lifestyle, it was just getting rid of a lot of the old people, the old things, the old ideas, you know, the old behaviors, man.
It's weird too, where a lot of people that you thought were your friends, we're just on this, we're like surface friends. Like we're like, they stopped calling me because I didn't want to go out and drink anymore. And then like I started noticing like I wouldn't get a call to hang out. And I'd be like, hey, I'll still go to the bar. You want me to drive you guys? And they're just like, yeah, no, like I don't need a lecture. Like,
right, they're going to think you're going to be judging them.
Absolutely. When in turn they were judging me. And then then when all that kind of faded away, you see who your core is, and then like it's weird because it's like I didn't do the steps, but you go through the steps, and then I was like, oh, like somebody got sober and then made this by getting sober. Yeah, but you don't understand that. So like, I would go to meetings a couple times with Zola, and it was just you're like a family became important to me, and then like I started like giving a shit about my brother's kids and like showing up to stuff, and like it's weird the way like you just go, and those were all things I wanted to do. I just did never do them because I was drunk.
Yeah, I knew it was a major milestone in my recovery when I was coming up on 60 days clean, and it was Easter, and I put a pair of jeans on and put my hands down in my pockets, and I felt a bump in the fifth pocket, and I'm like, oh shit, 4 bags of dope in my pocket, right? And there was like, there's the fork in the road.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do this, and here's a chance to spend my first holiday with my family clean, or I'm gonna do this and I throw away my recovery and I could be dead and just say goodbye to all that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, that was the hardest decision I had to make in my
Was it just
recovery.
shit you had in old pants?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I was hiding it from my ex, and she put it in there, put it back in the drawer, not it out in the other room, and it was like holy shit. I'm like, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna flush it down the toilet. But then there was the other part of me. It was like, oh, I got some friends who still do this shit. They could really use it. Right? But that mentality would just drag me right back out there, you know?
Yeah.
So I had to call my sponsor, you know, and just let them know, like, hey, this is what I'm dealing with, man. This is real. Then I flushed it, and it was like, it was a great feeling when I knew, like, I was strong again.
Control.
You know what I mean? I had a program that was really working in my life, you know? So, yeah.
So when you got out of the rehab, like I'm sure they set you up like around here with like meetings and stuff, and then you just stayed the course and then started working on art and tattooing again, and then were you tattooing out of other shops?
I actually, right out of rehab, my 3rd day out of rehab, I did 2 tattoos still behind my mom's bar in my little studio.
Yeah.
And which a lot of people thought was a stupid idea because I'm behind the bar and the same people, and I knew where I was at from the gate. I'm like, I just need this to pay my bills. I'm already behind all my rent and all that. And I got out of there soon, went down to Heritage Tattoo in Easton, did that for about 2.5 years, I think, you know, and then just wanted to be out of the bar, wanted to be around other artists, and did that, and then opened my own shop again.
Yeah. And when I say like I seemed it was fast, is that progression there on the jump and when you opened your own stuff, and then I just really started seeing you like running your own shit. That's kind of what I meant, where you was like leaps and bounds. But now hearing that, it was like 5-6 fucking years of extremely hard work.
It has been.
It's not easy, man.
It's not, and you know, I'm raising 2 kids now, and you know, my youngest was born after I was clean for like a year, and I'm basically a single parent. I got help from my girlfriend now, but it's tough. I can't even really work the overtime hours like I would like to, you know. It's just staying grinding in the time that I have, you know, because then it's go home, pick the kids up, home, you know. So, but even when I'm home, I'm drawing, I'm working on next day's homework for the tattoos, you know, so.
What's it like to hang in that lane, though, that creative lane? That's got to help out so much with all this.
Well, you know what's crazy is when I used, right, I thought that that's what I need. I needed to do drugs to be this madman, like the mad scientist, you know, like does his best work when he's fucked up. I thought I had to be fucked up to create good artwork. And it's crazy that, you know, I've been clean 5 years now, and my best work came out sober as fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I could tell.
You know, and that's what people tell me, like, yo, your work's getting so good, and I'm like,
and I see like you're kind of like dipping in and out of different ranges and stuff.
My ego tells me, what do you mean I'm getting good? I've always been good. But even when I was
you fucking asshole. What are you talking about?
When you say different ranges, what do you mean by that?
Like it seems like you can kind of hit a shitload of different mediums. Like you can be doing your different styles. Like it seems like, because a lot of stuff like where just watching your social media, I'll be like, damn, I didn't know he could do that. And then I'll see you like do like Japanese style stuff, or like there was a bigger one you were working on. Then when you did like the graffiti never again thing, I was like, I didn't know he dipped into graffiti shit. Like, you have you can hit a lot of different fucking avenues.
I like to be versatile, but I never really stuck with one style. I love the Japanese. I love working big, you know, so that's where I like to see my work go.
And you do a lot of bigger stuff too.
Yeah, I definitely try to push that. I'm trying to stay away from smaller tattoos, and people just get me to do it. You know, it sucks because it jams up. Even though they're little tattoos, they jam up a lot of time that I could be working on. You know, it's just hard to say no. And when I say no, somehow they still get me to do it. You know? And people think that I'm trying to be too good for them to do it, and it's not about that. It's like where I want to see the progression of my work, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at next year, really trying to buckle down and focus on really pushing the art and not the little tattoos, you know.
So whereabouts is the shop now?
We're on 1210 Northampton Street in Easton.
Yeah.
The West Ward of Easton.
Yeah.
You know?
And is it just you at the shop, or do you have other guys there too now?
Nah, I got two other artists, Ron Wexler and Victor Nieto. Mm-hmm.
How's that like been opening your own shop and getting everything ready and having that full responsibility now? And like, you know, there's a lot of shit you're doing that you definitely couldn't have been doing before.
Yeah, what do you mean when I was...
When you're fucked up.
Yeah, no.
Like you have employees.
like I said, I lost my shop, you know, to my addiction. And getting this shop was like, when I got the shop, I had to remodel the whole thing room by room.
Yeah.
You know, so it was almost a good year before I even got another artist. I had an apprentice right from the jump, and Greg Kurtz, and he's a really phenomenal artist as well. He's no longer with me, but he was a big help getting the shop to where it is now. But so like the responsibility I was assuming was like little by little, you know. But the first year I actually paid taxes since I've been clean was like, that was a huge milestone to me. Like,
I'm sure for them as well.
In my addiction, it was like, I'm paying taxes. I'm doing it this year. I'm doing it this year. But when all the extra money was going to feed my addiction, you know. So now, you know, I just had a website built by Bison Creative.
I saw that.
Yeah, he did an awesome job. You know, just trying to post regularly on Instagram.
It's a fucking job, man.
You know, Instagram is just a blessing. You know, I get so much clientele from it. It's great.
I think it's the best social media platform.
It really is. You know, Facebook. I get sucked into Facebook, and it's usually never anything positive comes out.
Facebook is a heap of trash.
You know what I mean?
It's a heap of trash now with people's parents there.
Yeah, everybody's just judging you every which way, man.
Instagram, I feel like it's the least political. It's the least amount of bullshit. You can just look at pictures. You don't have to read what they're talking about.
Right.
It's an easy way to sling merch. It's an easy way to showcase what you're doing. It's really good for anything, whether you're trying to do something creative and just, you know, like I cut fucking commercials and throw them up on this.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I love your
and
posts
it's thanks, man. It's like, it's super easy to do shit. It's like, I have people that I'll see them out and then like, they'll be like, oh my God, like I saw what you were doing on there. Like they'll start talking to me about food. And I'll be like, what? and then I realize that there's people looking at that shit all the time.
Right.
But now it's like to the point where, and this is what I want to get into too, is like how much does social media help you out? Where like, I'm looking to start doing like pop-ups and selling food out of here, but that's only because food is the highest. If you like get into the algorithms and shit and like the stats, like I put food up, it goes up, and then it's like, you know, some people just will scroll shit.
When you put it on your site.
If I post a hamburger up, that's the most shit I get. So now I start thinking, I'm like, all right, well, if everybody's paying attention to food and I can cook and people do like my food, I'm like, why don't you start doing pop-ups? Why don't you start slinging food out of here?
Man, that's a great idea, man. I should serve hot dogs in front of
I'll fucking serve. I love hot dogs. But I'm going tomorrow to talk to this guy from Local Stone Pizza. And, you know, we start talking and he's like, we should get this guy to do a pop-up. And I'm like, we should do a pop-up.
Right.
I'm like, I'll put you in the fucking front window up there. We'll get some things. I'm probably not going to look into it too much more than that. And I'll see if someone says anything.
Right. I can see
and
you
if they do
out on this table right here, you know.
I'll be like, yeah, man,
Food
sorry.
show.
Guess next time we'll get a permit. But like how much did that change the shop and everything you were doing, where you started showcasing your life and started telling people you got sober? And like that's the other thing too, is like when you post your sobriety shit, like you got like fucking a couple hundred likes, and I was like, but that's got to feel good to have support behind you.
It does, and I'm hesitant to post my clean time anymore, only because I don't want to look at like I'm boasting or
no. To me, it doesn't come off that way, but to somebody who probably never got sober or something.
I guess I care too much what people think, but I don't want people to think I'm looking for likes or anything
yeah.
like that.
I don't. But see, I got sober for a long, decent amount of time. So like, I don't look at it as that. I'm like, all right, that's his journey right now. But if there's someone who has no clue what it's like to put a fucking beer can down and just drinks all the time, they'll be like, oh, what does he think? He's fucking too good because he won't have a beer with me. Meanwhile, you're like trying to feed 2 kids.
And here's the thing, man. A lot of the friends that I did drink and use with, like, I'm still friends with them. I just keep them at a distance.
Yeah, you have to.
And when we cross paths, it's like cool until there's a certain kind of negative energy that comes up, and it's like, all right,
then you bounce.
I got to keep it moving.
Yeah, I used to hang out at parties till the bitter end, just so I wouldn't look judged. Meanwhile, everyone was blacked out and didn't even know I was there. And then I'm just standing there like, man, I'm just like looking at the time. I guess I'll leave when everyone else does. And then it got to a point where I knew like that feeling comes over you, and I get uncomfortable and I'd be weird. And it still happens because there's times I don't drink, and like I'll go to a party and then I'll be like, okay, now's that time. And then if you leave at that time, that's when you go home and you're sitting in front of the TV and you're like, man, this is so much better than waking up throwing up tomorrow.
Right.
It was
I'll
always.
tell you what, man, I saved so much money.
Yeah. Yeah.
I go to a concert now and I walk out.
My God,
I might buy a T-shirt, right?
Yeah.
That's it,
I didn't notice it until
$20.
I started going out to dinner with my friends, and then we would split the bill. And then they would be like, they'd be like, all right, well, everybody's got to throw in 65, and Mike, you just had the water, so they're like, you owe $20, you just got a burger. And I was like, God damn, that's so much more money.
I think something I want to stress though, is getting clean and sober for me. It was so hard to make that decision to want to do it because I didn't think I'd be able to be happy clean and sober. I didn't think I'd be able to find enjoyment in things. Like now, like I went to the West End Fair with my kids and friend yesterday, and I had a blast.
Yeah.
Straight sober, had a blast. I have so much fun just kicking it, man. Like I don't need any substance in my body. And,
you were hiking a lot too?
Yeah, I tried to. Yeah. I know you saw me at Jacobsburg Park and shit, right? I was on this kick. I'm gonna get up 5-6 o'clock every day. I'm going. That lasted a day.
I did it, dude. I was proud of myself. I did it for like 2 months, and then I fucked my foot up. And the doctor was like, "You gotta take a month or a week off." And I'm like, "I can't." I'm like, "I'll never get back up at 5 a.m." And I still haven't.
Right.
The girl I go with, she pushes. She's like, "Hey, how's 7 tomorrow?" I'm like, "That's more realistic." I was getting up at 5.
Right. It feels so good to be active.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm jealous of my friends that I see, getting out there hiking and doing stuff more often, but it's like kids and work. Yeah, I kind of just suffered, I guess you want to call it an injury. You know the Red Bridge?
Yes. Used to jump off there as a child.
I'm there with my stepkid, right? And I love doing backflips off shit like that, But I get up there and do a backflip, and I was like, first time I was actually scared. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, all right, I'm going to do a front flip. I feel more comfortable doing that. And dude straight did a backflop. Dude, my shit was fucked up, right? And then after a couple days, like I was good. Then I got a gym membership down here and then, worked out. And then the next day, my fucking back was on fire. A couple days of that, I'm good. I go back to the gym. I work out. It's on fire again. I'm like, fuck, dude. Like, I gotta go see a chiropractor.
Now, is that fucked up from the motorcycle accident as well?
I don't know. Like, it definitely could be, but I feel it from lower to higher.
Yeah.
I got 2 rods in my back from the motorcycle accident in the bottom, which I was actually at the Cherry Hill Hotel that night when I left.
Oh, I was probably working. Was it when Chico owned it or when?
Yeah, it was back then. Yeah, that was 2008.
That's when I got sober.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And I left there and I was going back to the Roadhouse. And I told my buddy who was riding too, I said I might just go straight and go home because I live down on 512. Or I'm going to follow you and I'll go back to the Roadhouse. I said, I'm probably just going home. So we leave Cherry Hill Hotel and he fucking hammers it. And for some reason, I just thought it was a good idea to catch up with him. We're going to go down Filetown Road,
Yeah.
and at some point I'm going to hammer it and catch up with him. And I got a real dim headlight on my motorcycle, and I come around, and I was fucked up, you know. Come around that last turn at the bottom, and fucking off the road. Boom.
Ugh.
Yeah. Almost dead. Almost bled out.
Paramedics and shit?
Nah, dude, 2008, I'm so lucky I had reception on my phone. Buddy of mine's at my house trying to call me. Yo, where you at? Grab me a pack of smokes.
Oh,
no. My phone's down in like my cargo pocket of my jeans, and I'm like, I like pull the phone out.
Could you even move?
Dude, I could barely move.
Yeah.
I thought I was paralyzed. I couldn't move.
Could you
legs.
Breathe?
Barely.
Yeah. Oh, God, that must have been so fucking claustrophobic.
I felt like somebody kicked the living shit out of me. Thought I was paralyzed. I was just got the phone out of my pocket in time. I said, dude, help. You gotta help me. And they brought me to St. Luke's, and I was there for almost 2 weeks, and then a week in Good Shepherd. You know, I had to learn to walk again.
God damn.
You know, I told my mom I was going to lose my leg. Because I had an incision go so deep into my leg, on my upper thigh, and yeah, it was bad. And then the 2 rods. And I had multiple fractures in lumbar 3, 4, and 5. You know, you think like something like that, you might be stop drinking, stop drugging. Nah, that wasn't enough. I mean, because... Now I got a free ticket to use because now I'm getting Percocets out the ass.
That's what I was gonna say. Does that did you get concerned about your, like, not your sobriety, but like, did it get weird where you're like, I'm gonna probably get painkillers for my back?
Oh no, I wasn't in recovery at that time.
Oh, all right.
Oh no, I was fucked up. Yeah.
No, I meant now, like hurting your back at the Red Bridge thing.
Oh, I've actually had. I was coming up on a year clean, and I actually got into a snowboarding accident. And
stop doing things.
Should I show the viewers?
Yeah, why not?
So I separated my AC joint. This is nasty, right? So.
God damn.
Right,
yeah.
All right, you see that up there?
Yeah.
I was in so much pain, and so I went to the hospital with my buddy, and they asked me at the hospital if I wanted something for the pain. And I was like, nah, I'm good. I said, nah. I was like, I'm in recovery. I can't do narcotics. He's like, I can give you the non-narcotic stuff. And I was still even hesitant to do that, you know. You know, I was scared, man. It was definitely another pivotal moment in my recovery, you know, because it would have been easy for me to justify using. But, like, I think it might only take one Percocet.
Yeah.
For something to switch in my brain. You know what I mean? I've had, I had like a root canal or something, real bad tooth pain too.
Tooth pain's the worst.
Right.
It's the only thing I took in the 10 years was somebody gave me like I don't know if it wasn't a Pike, maybe it was a Vicodin. But I didn't get fucked up. It worked because I was in so much pain. And I was like, oh, that's what these are for? I used to just eat them like candy when I got tattooed.
Right. As long as you take it as prescribed, I guess.
Yeah.
You know?
So you just went nothing on that either?
Yeah, nothing.
Good for you.
Yeah, I went to the dentist trying to schedule the appointment, and the receptionist lady's like, you want something for the pain? I can write you out a script for Percocet. I'm like, nah. I said, Jen, I'm in recovery. She's like, oh, that's right.
It's good to be honest and say it out loud, though. It changes like your mental too.
She's like, all right, how about some Tylenol 3? I was like, dude, that's an opiate too. I said, nah, dude, just.
What do you take? Anything?
Ibuprofen.
Yep, that's the only thing I took.
I'll take the prescribed 800 milligram.
Yeah,
and it helps.
I quit everything. I stopped smoke. I quit drinking. I was smoking pot for a little bit, and then I realized that I was just high eating boxes of cupcakes, and I'm like, you're doing the same thing, man. Right. And then I eventually stopped that, and then looking back on it, that's probably how I weaned off the alcohol, was switching over to the marijuana. And then eventually I just kind of turned the road and then just cut it all out, and it was easier. I quit smoking cigarettes and just kind of minded my own business, started this, got in my lane, became an adult, and just fucking, I don't know. It changed my life completely.
Even about 4 months into my recovery, I actually even quit smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
Just put it down.
It's just almost like another thing that comes into the pattern cycle.
Right.
Like, it's just like, all right, well, now I'm not drinking, but now I'm smoking 5 packs of cigarettes.
Right. You know, you get clean and sober, and you just want to start doing healthier things for yourself, you know. It's been a great journey. You know, it's been a great journey.
Do you, one of the I always liked being able to help other people out. And then after a while, I realized that there's not really a lot of people you can help out. But do you like take anybody under your wing, or are you anybody's sponsor or anything like that?
It's funny because like in the beginning, you want to put a cape on and be Superman, trying to go save the world. From
You know how many friends I was like, you should quit drinking with me? And my one friend looked me right in the face and goes, I ain't doing that.
Listen, I do sponsor people.
Yeah.
And I try to help people when I can. But it's like it works best, I think, when people are ready. They're ready. They just don't know how.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I can show them how I did it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's all I can do. And you know, a lot of people, they go back their ways, and then they're ready again, and they call me up. And sometimes it's aggravating, but other times it's like, you know, I'm glad I can be there and do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? God gave me purpose. I have purpose in my life now. You know what I mean?
It's weird where you want to do all the stuff that would give you purpose, but then you don't do it because you're either insecure or you like feel like you can't do it, and then you use substances to kind of build the courage up, but then that absolutely destroys itself.
It does.
And like it just, the bottom always falls out on it. And it's like, now it's like, you know, I look at things and I look at, you know, there's not a lot of people that reach out anymore. It used to be a lot more when I used to push the sobriety and stuff, but then I got to a place like you where I just kind of didn't want to share it anymore. And then it became my thing, and I stopped counting days, and like, then it was just how I was living. And then when you start living like that, you're just living life. You're not posting, hey guys, I'm doing this, and then, you know, but I still have people hit me up and they're just like, hey, I'm going through this. And sometimes it's not sober, sometimes it's a divorce, and sometimes people just need advice. And like you said, I just kind of try and give people, I mean, the first thing out of my mouth when anybody asks me shit is I go, exercise, start running. I used to run 8 miles a day when I got sober, and every day I got up and I ran 8 miles, and I was too tired to be anxious, and I was too tired to do anything. You feel good. Then you start losing weight. I remember people coming up to me. I still have a drawer of shirts that was large. I ain't in those anymore. But like, I remember that very vividly, and now it's like I'm trying to lose weight again, and you know, I put on weight because my friend died, but I know why I did it. It was just a pattern I picked up with overeating, and now I'm trying to get back on track. But like, what my compass is that the fucking 10 years I got my life together. So now it's like I look back and I'm like, all right, what'd you do in the beginning? All right, well, I remember I did this and I cut this out, and I was watching my diet and I was exercising every day, and that helped my fucking mental.
So you want to get back to that?
I just want to get back to where I was. You know what I mean? I just want to get back to where I was functioning at my best. And I look back at that all the time, and that's always my compass for other people.
You know, you were talking about, you know, how I post my milestones in my recovery, and you made me think about a couple of the times I posted. I actually had like an influx of people like messaging me saying they're going through some.
It's crazy.
And honestly, it was overwhelming because it's like I don't physically have the time to be able to help, you know. And the one lady hit me up. She said her boy was getting out of jail, and she was scared for him because, you know, he was a heroin addict, this and that, and she was afraid he was going to go back to it. So I said, you know, I'll bring him to a meeting, you know what I mean? So right the first day he gets out of state prison, I helped him out to a meeting. We went to a week straight of meetings, and then after that week, I didn't hear from him no more. And long story short, like a month later, I hit him up. I said, "Hey, what's going on?" You know, and I'm doing good. You know, you could tell like something didn't sound right. You know, I'm like, "Hey, if you want to go back to a meeting, that's what I do. You know, it helps me." I didn't hear from him, and he would always call from his mom's phone. So about a week after that, I get a phone call from his mom's phone again, and I'm like, "Oh, Mike's calling me again. Cool, you know," and it's Mike's mom, and I said, "Oh, hey, I thought Mike called." She said, "No, Mike's dead," and I was like, "Holy fuck, man, that shit's real."
Yeah.
You know? So you did like being in recovery and helping other addicts. I've seen a lot of people come and go that I was really close to.
It's tough. Know? I lost a handful of friends, and more to overdose. You know, one of my friends all the time. He used to always try and get me, come on, man. And I would just tell them what I was doing. And, I'm like, I started this skateboard company, and like, all I know is that not drinking is working out for me. And, this is where my life's going. And every time I'd see him, he'd always look ashamed when he'd see me. And, hey, man, I'm not going to judge you, whatever. This is what you're doing. And then, it's like, it's weird. And then you just keep trying to work with these people, and then you just get a phone call. It's like, hey, man, this is what happened to so-and-so. This is, you get a phone call, somebody's girlfriend crying and fucking, and then it's just like, man, I ran with a rough fucking crowd. I definitely have friends who don't get those phone calls. Yeah. But it's like, I wouldn't change not being friends with those people. They were some of the best people I've ever met. But it's like, I've lost a shitload of friends to I've been to too many funerals. Right. And then it's like, and then you feel compelled to help people. But then there's so many people that I tried to help that they just go the other way, and then they're mad that they gave up, so then they're mad at you, and then it's like, it just gets weird.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. I get resentful sometimes when people don't get it. I go out of my way to pick them up and take my time to try to help them out, and I look back on it, and it's like, I shouldn't be resentful, but naturally I do get it.
Of course, it's human nature.
I'm like, dude, you told me you wanted to stay clean and sober, you want to do this, and then I watch your life get great again, you know what I mean? And then just to go back with your old buddies, use one time, and then you're either dead or you're fucking ripping and running hard till you're back in rehab.
Yeah, and I think it's hard because the light did come on for you, and the light did come on for me, so there is hope, and there, that isn't the impossible story anymore, because you're like, look, I did this, I did this, you could do it too. I was a total fuck up, man. I was like the fucking town drunk for the biggest time. I was a joke. Just fucking, just go down to the Holy Family Club, fucking get blacked out, fucked up. And then it's like, then I got my life together and I started actually getting respect. Nobody hated me. I didn't do anything dumb. I probably hated myself more than anyone in the area. And then it's like, and then when I started getting my shit together, people were like, oh, all right, cool, you're doing this. And then now it's grown to a point where I'm running a fucking business and making money off of it. And that shit would have never happened if I'd still be a fucking drunk. I'd be a drunk idiot sitting down at the fucking club or any other fucking bar around here. You know how it goes, man.
I used to go over to the American Hotel over here, and I had a lot of good nights, you know what I mean? And then I had a lot of nights where I'm like, oh shit, I did that in the bathroom. I did that out in the parking lot. I acted like that. I got into fights and like, but it's like there's still that part of me that just wants to walk back in there. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, nah, dude, I ain't living like that no more.
I used to go into bars a lot. I mean, I lived over Cherry Hill, dated a heroin addict, and was sober for a year, and everyone was like, what are you doing? And like my friends finally, like my buddy Nat was like, hey man, you have nothing to prove, and he moved me into his basement. And then like that's kind of when I got away from the scene, and I would go to bars sometimes. It was weird. I would just feel compelled to go, and I would just sit there and be working on my business.
While you were sober?
While I was sober, and I would sit at the bar at Applebee's, and I'd ask for a tonic with 3 olives and no alcohol, and I would just sit there and work. But I don't know if that's what made things, if it made it easier for me to be around alcohol and my friends and stuff like that, or if it was just I was compelled to sit in the bar, or if I'm just a fucking weirdo. It's weird, but it's like you develop these patterns and habits like cigarettes, and then like I don't want to smoke cigarettes anymore ever, but sometimes after a fucking meal I'm like, man, I really want a cigarette.
You remember how that first drag felt.
But then it's the same thing. I mean, I remember last year, I was out front and I fucking took a drag off my friend's cigarette and almost fucking puked.
You're like,
I'm like, what am I talking about?
Was I thinking?
But then when you're fucking around with pills or even alcohol, and you get, it's. I have friends that did it. They're fucking, were totally fine, had everything going for them, and then the one was my buddy fucked his back up, and I'm down in Virginia and I get a call from his fucking wife that he's dead on the toilet.
Quick, man.
And then it's just like, fuck, man. Then you start having more situations come like that, and life's crazy, man. It's fucking crazy.
It is, man. It is.
Where you at now with everything?
Well, I don't like to talk about milestones before they come, but I passed 4.5 years clean.
Hell yeah, man.
You know what I mean? COVID knocked the business back a little bit, you know what I mean? Anybody in business dealt with that.
You'll pay for that, bit. Wolf. You fucking unconstitutional cocksucker.
You're right. Fortunate that I've been grinding and staying sober and stacking money. Like, it didn't really affect me too much financially, so like I didn't lose my shop or nothing like that. And when we went into the yellow phase
Yeah.
and we could open the shop, I think I was allowed to open a shop. I don't know. At that point, I was back there on the low,
Yeah.
on the low tattooing.
A lot of people were.
Yeah.
That was one industry where I have so many friends in it where I'm like, fuck, man. I don't know too many people who got bailed out during that.
Right. So it was interesting getting going. I mentioned before we got started here today that somebody made a call on me to the authorities because I wasn't wearing a mask in my business, and they tried to get me shut down. And the health inspector did come in, and he wrote me up, and it was like, okay, back to it. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, like I was pointing out to you, like, okay, so let's say that they would have shut your shop down. You weren't financially secure because you were just getting things going, and then you couldn't feed your kids because somebody thought that they think that what applies to them should apply to you. And it's just like, I guarantee it's the same person who did that is going out to eat and they're taking their mask off to sit down.
Right.
Because once you sit down, you can't get COVID.
Yeah. Right.
Playing fucking bingo. I don't know. I saw all that shit, and I was pissed it happened to you.
The guy probably had a bad day.
You've been through enough shit, man.
The guy had a bad day, and he wanted somebody else to have a bad day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But really, it wasn't shit, The health inspector, honestly, he came in, and he was actually pissed. We had to have release forms filled out. So there was a release form, and somebody forgot their signature. Fucking health inspector was pissed. I'm sitting there talking to him. I don't even got a mask on. Then he gets through that whole shit, and at the end of it, he's like, so why don't you cut your mask on? You know what I mean? But, honestly, he didn't even care.
Yeah.
So, here's this guy trying to get me shut down. It's like,
I don't know. I offered the door open to anyone who wanted to come down here. If you didn't want to come down here, don't come down here. If you don't want to go get tattooed because you're afraid you're going to get the coronavirus, don't get tattooed.
Because the tattoo's not that important if you're that fucking worried.
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
I feel like some people... you want to wear your mask, I'll put it on to go in the post office. Well, actually, I don't, because now I fucking just switched over to fucking all digital, and then they fucking drop it in the box. But, that's, it sucks. I used to love going shopping. Now I just fucking order it online and pick it up. But it's like, if you want people to wear masks and all this shit, fine, but don't fucking drag other people into your fucking your bullshit. There was a lady who stopped me out front and was fucking giving me shit in front of her kid because I walked by her and wasn't wearing a mask. And
for real?
I didn't get into it with her because her kid was there. Because all I pictured was because I'm 40. So you think now, if I was 25, that would have been totally different.
Give her a
But
piece
all
of your
I'm
mind.
thinking about is this fucking, her husband's going to come back here and he's either going to be apologizing because she makes him do this, or it's going to be some gung-ho idiot that I have to fight in the fucking street.
Right.
And I'm like, I just got in my car and was just like,
take the high
I'm like,
road.
dude, I don't have to wear a mask outside. It's not fucking law
Right.
that I have to wear a mask out fucking side.
So, yeah, it's going to be nice when this blows over. But, as far as, where I'm at, where I'm going,
Yeah, what are your plans for the shop? You plan on growing it?
yeah, I mean, eventually,
Yeah.
Like I said, this whole thing's been baby steps. I got 2 artists. Honestly, I really just want to get back in doing conventions,
That sucks too, because that's so much income that tattoo artists pull off of fucking conventions.
Right. And, doing, getting to go to seminars. I got to go to Los Angeles about a year and a half
Yes, that's what I was going to bring up. You posted that too, where you were going out. So what do you do when you go to the seminars? It's just kind of learning different techniques from...
learn all different techniques. And, you're just rubbing elbows with these guys that I've seen in magazines back in the day. DJ Tamby on not Miami Ink, Ink Master.
Yeah.
And these guys are, genuinely cool fucking people, and they're extremely talented. You know what I mean? And I got to do it. I got to invest in myself. It's not cheap. But, every time I do one of these seminars, I bring something back and I apply it in my work, and it's that's where the growth happens. Just invested in yourself, putting the time into it. So the business is moving along. I finally just got approved for a mortgage, so it's gonna be great to buy a house soon. I've been looking, so that's a blessing, So yeah, just going day by day,
Good for you, man. I always thought it was interesting watching your story, and then I related on the sobriety thing, and I thought there was so many points during this that you pointed out, and it is all about progression and growing yourself and taking things slowly, and I don't know, I was always rooting for you when I saw that you cleaned everything up.
Appreciate that.
And I think where you're at now and how far you came, it's a fucking rad story, and it's what I wanted to tell. And I feel like there's a lot of people who are either younger and think they got to do stupid shit in order to get ahead, and what it comes down to is it's just fucking hard work. And it's like once, and like you said, you were roofing, like you were always doing hard work. You just weren't putting the work into yourself. And once you started doing that, like I said, it was leaps and bounds, just seeing how you were carrying yourself, how you were posting, how everything kind of picked up more. And I was just like, good for him, man. Like you can definitely see you're moving in directions of like you said, like you're getting a mortgage. Like that's huge.
I'm growing
like,
up. I'm doing adult shit.
But like once I started looking into this shit, like I started talking to the tax guy, and he's like, "All right, you're doing this wrong. You got to do this for your taxes." But I got like 2 years. But like my brothers all own homes. But like I'm so fucking pumped to be like, I'm here. Yeah. I'm getting a mortgage, motherfucker. I told you all I wasn't a fuck up.
Like when I finally get the house. Like, I want to post a picture of me out front with the kids
should.
and that. And then there's a part of me, like, I'm not trying to, like, gloat that shit. You know what I mean? So I might not even post it. But
I think the more...
Either way, it's going to be fucking cool.
I think if you looked at it this way, where I think you would have more people having your back and being excited for you than they're the people that would be fucking pissed off. The haters are going to hate on somebody else. They're going to hate on anything else. I mean, sometimes I get that way with posting, and there's other times where I'm like, you know what? Like the people that love me and care about me, they want to see this shit. Because maybe there's people that can't get a hold of you, or there's people that follow your story because they're inspired by it and want to see more. So don't ever not post because you think people are going to fucking think you're not.
It's great. It's great when somebody tells me that they've been following my work and that they've been seeing some really cool shit. You know what I mean?
Because your head's down and you're fucking busting your ass.
You know what I mean? That's the gratitude part, because it's like people are seeing. You know what I mean? People are seeing. Like that's the money's growing. The business is growing. The money's coming in. But what's most exciting for me is to see these pieces get finished.
Yeah.
And then be out in the world. You know what I mean? And people coming back and saying, hey, man, I seen that Japanese sleeve you did or this or that, and I want one of those because that's what I want to do. You know what I mean? Like, I got a job that I love to go to every day.
Isn't it crazy? Like, I'll wake up. Like, the other day we were going to shoot a commercial that we're doing for my buddy who makes knives, and I'm driving there, and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, this is my job.
Right.
It's like, it's very it still hasn't settled. Right. It gets a little bit more and more, but like, it doesn't really sink in that much till, when it did is when I realized I wasn't depressed. Cause there was always a depression over me because I was fighting to get to where I'm at now, but I wasn't doing it correctly because I was getting fucked up or like I was just making bad decisions. But like, I tell everybody too, it's like, I fucked up with this business so many times. I now know what to do next year.
Right.
Like, so like next year I know all the things not to do that I fucked up this year. And then I kept applying that. And then now it's to the point where it's making money and it's growing. And there's people that like fucking with the show, and I have sponsors and we do stuff. And like, I want to be doing stuff where I'm doing a pop up and, set up a bunch of things down at the park and have a bunch of people down there and give back to all the sponsors for helping me to get to where I'm at. But it's like, that takes fucking years of fucking sacrifice. It's like I did 10 years of sobriety. Like, it's shit no one else would have done. And now I look back at it and I'm like, damn, man. Like, and like, that's what I see in you, where I'm like, yeah, keep fucking going. Like, I can't wait to see where you're at in fucking 5, then 10, then, you know what I mean? Like, the growth, like, you're moving, you say at a slow rate, but what I see what you're doing is you're moving fucking mountains, dude.
I'll tell you what, man, this place is awesome. When I walked in from the street and walked down I thought you were on the first level up there.
Nah, it's a barbershop.
I walk in and then I see the steps going down. I'm like, oh shit, all the art on the walls.
Thanks, man.
I tell you what, I'm coming on to do this show with you, and I felt like a rock star walking down the steps. I'm like, that was like backstage or something.
That's
like,
cool. It's here, man. Dude. I have so much stuff in the back, but like, I love art. I love tattoo artists. I love anyone that creates art and gets paid to do it. I mean, I love just anyone. I've never been able to creatively sit down and like draw and do all this stuff.
But
I appreciate the shit out of it. So it's like I had to stop myself from buying fucking art. It's been a while since I bought a piece.
You're like, where am I gonna put it?
That too, but like, I want to go. I'm talking to the landlord now. Like, I want a new canvas. Like, that's how I draw now. Is like I paint. I picture all this shit, and then like I pictured this, and I did it. And like now I know how to picture stuff and make it
And
happen.
Make it manifest.
Yeah, so now it's like
yeah.
I already have it in my next spot, and it's like the next studio. It's like I want a lobby so I can fucking, if there's somebody on like D's Pickles where I can like buy their shit wholesale and move it out of there. Then I want to have an office to work out of. Then I want a giant open area. I want a new studio, like kind of like more professional, where it's like an actual close the door and it's soundproof. And then I told you there's a kitchen in the back, and the missing link that I want to be completely happy is I want to start doing a cooking show, or like we could have done this, and then me and you could have fucked off and made food. And then like recorded it, and we would have got 2 things of content out of it. Then I want to bring chefs on and have the new studio kitchen and then sell their food. And like everyone's always like, open up a cafe. And I'm like, dude, that's like 60 hours a week at work. But if I bring somebody on who knows how to make food, and then I'll be like, hey man, I'm making these burgers and they're being sold on Sunday and I'm only making 50 of them. And then I get to do what I love. I'm not burned out from working 10 different jobs, but like, that's where now I got an itch, and I'm like, all right, let's get out of here.
And you're gonna make it happen too.
Yeah, and I know. Like I called the landlord, and he's like, calm down.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm like, I need to walk the space. And he's like, all right. He's like, you don't need me with you. He's like, I'll let you in next week. So I'm gonna take a couple people, and I'm gonna start designing and figuring it out. And like, that's what I love. I mean, I love interviewing people and meeting people, but like the true passion behind it is like literally taking the idea and getting it out. And I could never do it on paper. I could never do it through music. It was just always like a misconnection. And then that's what I think my obsession with always wanting to interview tattoo artists. And I had like Alexis on, and I had Todd on, and Tom on, and it's like, the tattoo
was the
world.
other guy from down in Philly or something like that?
Oh yeah. I just had those guys on, Nick from and like that's a totally different tattoo style from what I'm even into, but I was intrigued to like ask him about it. And like I actually want to have him on because we didn't get into talking a little bit more in depth on his art process and stuff, but like I don't know. I hold the tattoo industry very close to my heart. It's cool. I liked it. I got to do conventions next to people. I felt like it was my world for a little bit. It was fun.
Like tattooing for me, like I said, I love my job. I feel so blessed to be in this industry because like it encompasses the biker lifestyle, the punk lifestyle, the art lifestyle, like so many different people. It's just like all these places I've been in my life. It's right there in my studio, and this is like who I am with it. You know what I mean? The music industry, you know what I mean? Like, I think it would be cool, like, to tattoo some rock stars, some rap stars, shit like that. That would be cool later on down the road. My shop is somewhat smaller. I got the 2 other guys in it, but like talking about upgrading to a bigger spot, like I would love to have a bigger shop, a lot more wall space to buy more art and showcase other artists that I look up to, have their art in there, and be able to get guest spots in, nationally or even internationally recognized artists to come in. That's where I'd like to see my shop go in the future. And I know it's just baby steps. Yeah. And with fucking COVID right now, man. Nobody's doing tattoo conventions around the country.
It sucks. It really shut down a lot of avenues. I looked at it as a way to kind of like tweak and get my business to where it should have been before, because it's like you really didn't have time to work on a business while it was running. So it's like I did like that aspect of it, but it's fucked up so many of my friends' businesses that like, like I talked to Keith, and like, he builds tattoo machines. So if the tattoo industry stops, how the fuck does Keith makes money? So
well, I just bought another one from him.
Well, I know he's back on track.
My dude. Keith my dude, man.
I keep trying to get him to do the show. I don't know if he will. He was always be like, no, and then he watched Tom's show and he's like, I like your show, and he's like, you know what you're doing, and I was like, yeah, thanks, and I'm like, that's why I keep telling you to come on. And he's like, shut up.
I try to get him out to do a tattoo convention with me. You know what I mean? He sells machines like that. Oh, he's all saying he's all about it, and then I hit him up a month before it or whatever, trying to get him signed up. He's like, maybe the next time.
Yeah, he started coming down for the fights, which was cool because Keith doesn't leave his house, and then he
unless he's out motocrossing.
Yeah. Well, it's the off season, so I get him in the wintertime. So then he started coming down into the fights a lot and was getting in the UFC, and then COVID hit, and then so he got stuck back in his house. And then I play Call of Duty with him and a couple other dudes on Tuesdays, Dylan Daney and some other guys. So it's a good time. But Keith's funny. Nice. But yeah, I mean that shit. I mean, people don't realize, especially if you don't run a business, how many businesses this shit's fucked up. Yeah, it's fucked up way. Way more than I'd like to hear
Well,
about.
my mom owns the Roadhouse I was talking about.
Yeah.
It, and she opened up for like a week after COVID and pretty much shut right back down again because of all the restrictions.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know?
So what's she doing? Just kind of waiting out till they open up 100%, or?
I guess, you know what I mean? She's exploring other avenues, you know, so I don't want to get too much into what she's doing with it, but I hope the best for her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It'll work itself out.
Yeah. You know, it's you know, I think even for the people that businesses get shut down, I think there's a silver lining in all this. You know, some people just haven't seen it yet. For me, when I opened back up yellow and green phase, my phone was just blowing up off the hook. That's why I had the one artist, Ron, and then I got a hold of Victor. I said, yo, you ain't doing much. Come up. I got plenty of business, and I've been keeping both the guys, you know, busy every day. So
yeah, you're tattooing pretty steadily from your posts that you're posting.
6 days a week.
God damn, man. Well, good for you.
Now my back's really killing me.
Yeah, stay out of the fucking red bridge, man. What are you thinking?
I'm done.
I don't know. I wanted to thank you for coming on. I wanted to tell the story for a while. The story's really cool. I appreciate you posted and sharing your stuff. So fuck anybody who doesn't like it. And I want to give you the time to kind of plug where you can follow your social media and how to get a hold of you if you'd like to get tattooed.
Sure. Definitely find me on Instagram. FTW Tattoo. There's a link to my website. You know, it talks about my rates and how to book with me. You can send me a direct message. I'm not opposed to that. Like, eventually, I don't really want to be doing that. You can hit me up with the email.
Go to the website, people.
Yeah, definitely.
I did the same thing. People hit me up.
Yeah.
Yo, can I get a T-shirt? Go to the $10,000 webpage I bought.
Yeah. I'm telling you, my buddy AJ Bison did a fantastic job with the website.
No, I saw. I think he hit me up a couple times years ago for doing photography, and then when he saw it, I was like, awesome. And the page is legit. It's really fucking good.
I also want to give a shout out. Jason Nail over here, Nazareth Sign Company. He did my graphics.
Is he up across from next to Rice and Beans?
Yeah.
Right all right. I saw him come in. I see the truck going around.
Yeah, he does awesome graphics. He did my banner as well for the convention, business cards, stickers.
Cool.
You know, now that I'm here, like, I want to give a shout out to this person, that person, but honestly, I wasn't even thinking like that, you know?
You're all right, man.
But, you know, definitely a lot of people out there helped me get to where I am today, so.
Cool, man.
And thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. You can come on anytime you want. If you're ever doing something or when you open up the shop full or, you know, if you get a new spot or anything, you're more than welcome to come on here and we could start working together. I've been trying to work with different tattoo artists doing stuff over the years. I mean, I do the apparel, so we can maybe do something on that or...
I'd love to do a design for
it'd be dope. And then we could set something up where, like I said, I'm going to be starting to do these pop-ups and stuff. So I kind of want to give back to anyone who really comes on and does stuff. So there's definitely opportunities to work together down the road. So you'll be on again.
Man. Cool.
But yeah, if anyone wants to check out anything Never Again, it's neveragainstudio.com. And that way you can get all the podcasts, all the apparel, all the videos. So if you go to YouTube, you can subscribe. But everything I do now is in one fucking location, and it's neveragainstudio.com. And if you guys want to get tattooed, fucking email him. Go on the goddamn website. The guy paid money, and it was a fucking well-designed website, so don't hit his fucking DMs. Follow directions, you people. Yeah, man. Thank you for coming on.